Peace, everyone. Today we are doing a beautiful collective energy reading. The message that came to me that was channeled was, in this process of deep surrender, this is where the divine will meet you. This is truly about letting go and letting God. A lot of you have been fighting, okay? The path that has been created for you. And even in the process of fighting, it's been shaping you, it's been preparing you for what you're destined for. And you're finally ready at this point. Maybe it's been beaten out of you, but you're finally ready to surrender, to give into this deep surrender like no other. And this is where divine timing shows up. This is where the divine will meet you. Channeling this message with Archangel Michael. Let's see what messages we have for the collective. Oh, not all of these. Actually, it's hilarious. Okay. I'm being told to reshuffle because there's a whole bunch of these, and that is all good cards, but we're just gonna reshuffle again. All right. Archangel Michael, what message do we have? The collective here. Okay. Clarity on this Nine of Wands, please. Oh, give me 1 second, y'all. Okay, so I was just organizing what came out here, the cards that came flying out. The first card that came out is Nine of Wands. I feel like if you look at this individual in the cards, this individual has worked diligently and hard, okay? This is giving the energy of you are exhausted, okay, but you have achieved victory, okay, over opposition. You have accomplished the task of transmutation of generational cycles, patterns, curses, and you've learned to trust within yourself. In his face, he's kind of looking back. So I feel like this is speaking to just taking a moment in this deep surrender of looking at everything you've gone through in this process and what you have achieved, and knowing that it hasn't been achieved easily. This has been hard-earned, hard-gained. And there's aspects of you that feel like you need rest. But Spirit is saying this is not the time for rest. In contrary, this is the time to go with the flow of what is coming to you, right? These downloads, these ideas, because I do feel like even though there's this deep surrender that's happening, you have more clarity about the future version of self now more than ever. And so there's an aspect of you that knows you are done with battle. There's an aspect of you that knows that this is over. But you're also looking like, I can't take no more. Okay, some of y'all, your nervous system has been fried, okay, in this process. And it was fried beforehand. But it's gotten to the end of the rope where life cannot continue to unfold or bloom in the way that it has before. And you have the Seven of Wands. The Seven of Wands speaks to victory that was hard-earned. But the Seven of Wands, it speaks to, again, a future success. And this is why we have the Nine of Wands, which is later in the deck than the Seven of Wands. But I feel like this is saying, okay, now this is a new venture. Now you're turning the leaf, right, to a very different phase within your life, and know that success is assured. Now, there's going to be maybe some, I don't want to sit here and say teeth pulling, because that's not the energy that I'm getting. You may be doing certain things reluctantly because things in the past haven't worked out for you. but Spirit is requiring that you walk just a bit more. And it's crazy because I literally had this experience where I was like, you know what? I'm going to wait for a certain bus. I'm like, because it's going to drop me right off in my destination. But another bus came and I had to walk maybe like 5 minutes. And I'm like, I don't want to walk these 5 minutes. I had to walk, it's like 15 minutes to get to the bus in the first place. And so I'm using this as an example that I'm being told, get on this bus. And so I get on the bus and I walk. You guys are being guided in this deep surrender to do things that may not necessarily make sense to you fully. Because if you have past experiences and you're looking at those past experiences, which I feel like it's a normal thing for people to look at the past and basically collect data of past experiences. But this is not where it's going, and innately that things are different. As I said, that 5:55. And so you have this inner knowing, but you have the logical mind as well, too. So this is why you're like a little, what's the word? Not resentful, but reluctant. There you go. You're a little reluctant just because you're tired of giving of yourself and it not being fruitful. And so you kind of washed your hands of everything. And you're just like, you know what? If you guys want me to exist in this moment, I'm going to exist in this moment. And so you're still learning to let go. And as you're letting go in this true deep surrender, this is where Spirit is going to come through. And the card that came up was the Sun. This is really about basking in what you've earned thus far. This is really a moment for living. This is a moment of exploration. This is a moment of just peace and joy within yourself. And even though you are having this moment of peace and joy, Spirit will ask you to get on a different bus than you wanted to originally, because you don't know what alignments are going to take place. It could be little tests. Are you willing to walk, those 5 minutes to meet that alignment that's been prepared for you right around the corner, right around the street? And it's not necessarily, are you willing to put more work in? It's what I'm hearing, it's a test of faith. They're not asking you to do the hustle and bustle, and they're asking you to move on faith and to believe that something beautiful will happen as you move on faith. You have the Knight of Wands. I feel like this is speaking to a move, a change in, a relationship status, relationship to self, right? Relationship, to like, it says job, but it could be career. For some of you, I'm picking up like entrepreneurship, career heavy, and, relationships and partnerships as well. Partnerships with others, but also partnerships that truly are going to land in wonder. All right. This is where the things that you have been seeking, but are no longer in a seeking energy. You've actually come into an energy of detachment, are coming into your vicinity, are coming to find you. And this is when Spirit says, move to a different bus, walk down this street instead of the other, turn left instead of right. Be prepared for the unexpected, or not even be prepared. Just allow the unexpected to unfold. Let's see what else we got here. Okay. All right. And the first card, literally, that's on the bottom of the deck, as soon as I flip it over, it's White Wolf. It's speaking to confidence, guidance. Trust your inner knowing. Trust that where Spirit is guiding you to freedom. It's guiding you to trust yourself in the decisions that you are making, but also in the alignments that are going to take place. Everything that you've worked so hard for, everything that you have achieved, is opening these doors for you. Okay? Listen. Then you have the torch from dark to light. I cannot explain to you how this is so on point. 1010 and 1011. This is the revolution. This is the flip. This is where you've made it to the other side. Regardless of what it looks, you've made it to the other side. Regardless of what it looks like. All right, let's see what else. All right, tons of cards from prior readings. What else do we have? Oh, have here Archangel Michael. So we have birds. I feel like the birds are speaking to communication. I feel like there's going to be opportunities where you're going to start using your throat chakra for the divine. Start using your throat chakra for the good, for what you actively see, these visions, these downloads that are being given to you. This is because, saying negotiate. I feel like this is negotiations. This is you, speaking and people wanting to do business with you, and again, looking at contracts, right? These different types of things. This is you communicating. This is you making contact. I feel like this is speaking to an alignment. Definitely speaking to an alignment. I'm done because there's 2 cards. And as they're talking about birds, communication, negotiation, right? Making contact. Then we have the fish. Okay, so we have the air element and the water. Okay, I feel like this is spirit and your magnetics. Okay, your womb, bringing things to you because it's speaking to resources, to finances, to investments, to prosperous money, income, commerce, multiply, large quantity, lavish, bodies of water. This is where, honey, you are becoming very magnetic, and you're not even seeking to become magnetic. You are not seeking anything anymore. You've honestly just surrendered to whatever this path is going to be, whatever it's going to look like, because in all reality, you thought that you were ready maybe some time ago, some years ago for some of you. And what you thought you were ready for, you were still being refined for. You were looking, when is this going to happen? When is this opportunity going to open up for me? And when is something going to allow me to live a lavish life? And not even lavish life, maybe a life of freedom. Okay? A life where you're not operating in lack. A life where you have everything that you need, all the resources that you need. And guess what? Now you're just like, I'm live. Either I'm going to survive and make it through this, or I'm not. But I surrender to this process because I've overcome and have survived so much that would have taken out most people. But you conquered it, and now you're here in this new beginning. And it's crazy because I'm sitting right by these 2 faces in the back, and I feel like it's a part of you that's grouchy, and I feel like a part of you that's actually happy, And the grouchy part, you had every right to be grouchy, but you can't sit there and stay in that grouchiness because guess what? The good is actively waiting for you now. You're in this weird in-between state of deep surrender, but it's not like this beginning stages of surrender. You've been working on surrendering for a long time, but this is a level of depths of a level of surrender deep within your depths, even like primal self, right? The wounded self that are surrendering to this process, even if it's reluctant to do so. Because you have been at the helm of your life, at the driver's seat of your life, and you're saying, you know what, this is where we're directing our course. We are working in tandem. We are working in unison with the divine, with the all that is all, to ultimately be aligned with the life that's meant for us. What we're meant to do, our soul's purpose, our soul's mission. And even if our soul's mission just means personal development and growth, in ascension, this is what I'm doing. You know that you're not moving in degradation. You know that you're aligning with the good. And there's different aspects of self that are also getting on board at this particular point in time with the next phase of your life. People talk about manifestation. People talk about just being able to cultivate the life that you desire, the life of your dreams. But in all reality, it's not that simple when you look at the depths of the different levels of self and how they also have to be in alignment with what comes next. And you've been doing so much work that it's impacting your primal self, that it's impacting your wounded self, that they're getting in alignment reluctantly, but they're still doing so because they know that you are at the helm of your mind. And since this aspect of your consciousness is at the helm of your mind, you are the one operating this reality. The primal self is not. The wounded self is not. And we need to remember that, that in this journey, we have these different aspects that want to take the lead. But you've proven to them and you've taken time to get to know them. You've taken time to befriend them, to let them know that you are taking the lead and that it's safe, that they can rest. Okay? What else do we have here? Okay. Okay, so we have mortal and pestle. I feel like this is speaking to alchemy. This is confirming the alchemy of self, but also I just feel like you may be drawn to, herbs. You may be drawn to just like self-care. This is a time where it's like, yes, just tap in, just dive deep into your herbalism, dive deep into self-care, dive deep into personal alchemy, because you've done the work. And I was just talking about how your primal self, your wounded self, cannot take charge in this particular season of your life because you've integrated with them. You let them know that it was safe, that now they can rest. They don't have to be at the forefront. Okay? And that's alchemy, my dear. That's alchemy that's out of this world. And you're accomplishing something really beautiful. Continue to do that. And continue to not only do that, but actively fall in love with the essence of nature all around you. This is where life really happens. We have the magnifying glass. I feel like there's going to be, more of you who are going to be getting more downloads, more information concerning like your soul's mission, your path. Right now you're just being asked to live and you don't see the full picture. And that's okay because you're not meant to see the full picture. But as certain events come closer, I do feel that you will be given more information. I am getting that there may be some kind of trickster energy as well involved. So just because something looks like it might be in alignment, tap in with your team, tap in with the divine. That was very much a direct, excuse me, energy or a direct message from Archangel Michael. Also, the throat chakra is you honoring your voice, even if something seems like it's perfect, but it's not. I feel like the messages ain't coming for somebody. That was good. What's going on? Y'all got some throat chakra stuff going on. It's definitely been a heavy season of throat chakra releases, clearing, and upgrades for the collective. But kind of threw me off track there. We gonna get back to the point. I do feel like you're gonna be getting clarity on certain things. So your soul's mission is very important. You've been getting guidance. They're not just gonna leave you out to dry, so to speak. They're not gonna leave you hanging. Okay, this is where speak your voice. Speak your voice, because even if other people aren't listening in this process, I've realized and I've learned that the divine is listening, and they will move mountains. Okay, they will move mountains to make sure that the right alignments and the right things take place, because some of you don't realize how important and how crucial to this earth plane you are, what you're meant to leave, and then we have, and I just want to sit here and say the magnifying is saying, like documents, examine the fine print, larger than life. There are certain things that are the larger than life to me is speaking to that divine purpose, that divine mission, what you're meant to do, and even your own personal ascension and growth. Even though this isn't focusing completely on this, is larger than the life that you are currently living and existing in. Your growth for consciousness and how you're meant to help impact a collective, so others and other individuals who are also meant to reawaken, have whatever you're meant to leave this particular world, okay? Your particular imprint, okay? Then we have iceberg, more than meets the eye, unseen, okay? This is right now, listen, I'm going to just use my story as an example. Right now, it just seems like Spirit is asking me to live. I've gone through so much. I've put things together, and they're still giving me downloads and certain things like that, which, I know it's all part of like the soul mission, and I won't be getting into that just yet because it's not time. But this is where there's more than meets the eye right now. You may not see the full picture of your soul mission. It's not the complete picture. And even some of the downloads that you're receiving is not complete as well either. Because the more that you get these downloads, the more that you live, the more that you are putting these things together, the more it's going to expand, the more that it's going to grow. Okay? And you don't know how deep this is going to go. A lot of things actively are being kept hidden from you for a reason, because it's not meant for you to know it in this particular season of your life. And we have to get comfortable with that, Anything else? Oh. Okay. Too many cards here. Way too many cards. Okay. What else? Oh. Excuse me. Drop the card. We have the fox, and I feel like this is speaking to what Archangel Michael, stated. There are going to be people who are looking to get in alignment with you, right, in this beautiful, deep surrender. And this is where the alignments are going to be taking place. This is where the divine will be meeting you. In your very much unbothered state, again, read things. Don't get into contracts. Use your voice. There are going to be people who have their own self-interest in seeing, seeing themselves attaching to your soul's purpose, because I'm getting that they want to keep it small. And I'm not saying that every opportunity that comes around is a trickster. I'm saying that there's going to be a trickster in the bunch, or a trickster in the opportunities that are meant to unfold. It's up to you to use that discernment. And for this card to come up is understand that there is someone with a self-interest in here. And that self-interest is so that they derail the course of your soul's mission. And we're not having that. Period. What else? And then this one was, listen, it was like this on cards, okay? But the cards are this way. So, okay. Blueprints. Right now, this is the season for blueprints, okay? And again, you are just living, all right? Spirit is kind of like, fine, deep surrender, okay? We're in this deep surrender. And this is where the divine meets you, but you are getting visions. So right now, this is where you're sketching what the soul mission is looking like in connection with the divine. This is all being worked together. You are not doing this alone, regardless of what it looks like. So this is where the architect is now careful planning. The visions are coming together. You may be having visions where you're seeing the future in your third eye, mind's eye. Now, mind you, when the blueprints are very much the beginning, the drawing stages, okay? The foundation, has been laid within self, right? You are what's going to be building the physical foundation. This is what's entering into your reality. Right now, your spirit and your spirit team, those that you work with, are in the visionary stages because you finally cleared out the degradation to build something beautiful that will impact the collective, okay? And so this is where your destiny is starting to, or as I like to call destiny, onoga. This is now where your destiny is starting to become more clear to you. You are starting to get the pen, writing these downloads down, your ideas down in the middle of the night. You may not even be getting much sleep some nights. You're just, spirits giving messages, and it's coming down through downloads, and you're just writing things down. Then another part comes in, and again, little pieces. Because when you're creating the blueprints, there's many pages and stages to the blueprints, okay? And there's so many intricate details that need to go into all of this. This is where you're getting the ideas for the intricate details of how it's all going to plan out. For some of you, this onoga unfolding and putting it together, and I'm not just talking about the blueprints, but for some of y'all, this is going to take years. Because what you are building, what you are crafting, what you are going to leave this world, it's greater than something that can be accomplished in a couple months, in a couple days, in a couple weeks. And that may be discouraging to some, but I feel like the person I'm speaking to, it's not discouraging to you because you understand the gravity of what you are working with spirit to create. You are, come here, talk to me for a second. You are building something that will impact many and many generations. And there's a certain level of patience that has taken place. I wasn't even going to come to the library today to record this reading because I was like, I got other things to do. But I felt in my heart that it was important to come here and do so. You're not building something that's a fly-by-night or even something that's fully just for yourself, that you're just like, oh, this is going to be, wealth for me. The person I'm speaking to, you're building something that will allow people to tap into spiritual wealth, to wealth of self, to wealth of knowledge, to the true wealth of essence of life. And what you are doing and what you are building is worth taking time to make sure that the foundation is established correctly. You're not just throwing anything to the wind. There's a clear vision. There's the beginnings of a clear vision for this process. And you're not materialistically driven. You like nice things. There's nothing wrong with liking nice things, okay? But you understand the impact of this. And maybe in your earlier seasons, because I was told this is the last card, so I'm going to, leave it at that. Sorry, sidetracked. But even in your earlier seasons, you were ready for things to jump off instantly. Now, some years later, you realize you were not ready. You realize that you did not want that jump off energy. You were not about it truly. It was you thinking out of desperation. So Spirit's been working with you in this refinement process, and you finally are entering a beautiful deep surrender in where Spirit will meet you. And when I sit here and say Spirit will meet you, I'm not saying that Spirit's going to meet you and you are going to, have this thing taken off automatically. Everyone is on their own divine timing. What I'm saying is Spirit will meet you in working on this and giving you the insights little by little, or quicker for some, however it may be, into what you're meant to be doing next, and at the pace and at the rate in which you can go at comfortably but with steady movement. You will be piecing this together, okay? And it's going to be coming together beautifully with no rush. You're going to take your time. You're going to establish what you need to establish. You will put together the insights of, the programs, whatever it may be that you are crafting for the collective. And whenever that's complete, maybe beforehand, I don't know, maybe Spirit will add people into your life to help you in this process. But you are the architect right now, building the blueprints, structuring everything. No one is meant to be in this particular season with you outside of Spirit and building this. Not saying others can't be part of the process as things unfold and move along. And I feel that indeed they will be, because this is a big project that you cannot do alone. But how it's being structured, this is your baby. This is your onoka. This is your destiny. And in crafting this, you are giving it all the bells and whistles and in tandem with Spirit of what is going to be birthed in this collective. You just went through a rebirth season of self. Now this is a birthing of consciousness in alignment with destiny, with your onoka. So your consciousness has been reborn, right? You've shed the heaviness. This is, my dear, this is a new beginning. This is your destiny. This is you working on getting everything together for when you do birth your destiny. And this is all part of the destiny coming together as a child in the womb. It's going through, its stages from the egg and the sperm to the zygote, probably butchered that name there. And then the, embryo, fetus, embryo, it embryo and turns into the fetus. It goes through its seasons. This is where you're going through your seasons. And anyone that I'm saying this to, you're not surprised by anything that I'm saying. If anything, you actively understand it. You can see that this is where it's going. You're not rushing, you're surrendering, because you wanted your life to look a certain kind of way, just based off of the fact that you were trying to move out of despair, but in all reality, you found such deep peace in the midst of chaos. And you are going to birth something that the world has never seen before. Am I speaking to myself? Metaphorically putting the hair behind my ear. Okay, y'all, this is it. I've had a wonderful time bringing this message with me and Archangel Michael, of course. Thank you all for tapping in. Oh, I can't be combining these cards. What am I doing? All right, y'all. I have a good one, because a girl clearly needs to move on to other things. She's a bit tired. Peace.